What's going on, world? Brian Wright here, and you're now tuned into the Brian Wright Radio Show, where we offer value in the form of content that'll help you change your life, change your mindset, and become the best version of yourself. No matter whether you're male or female, what race, religion, creed, whatever you believe in, it doesn't matter. Leave that at the door, and let's just open our minds together, and hopefully I can tap into whatever source this is. And while you're listening to this, you can get a nugget or two, and you can go out there, apply it to the world, and be of value to the world as a whole, because that's what we all here to do, be of value to each other. But today's topic is going to be about something I feel like separates success and failure. I'm like I said, I'm in this small town, so I'm running into people that reminded me of me when I was from there. And I would ask them like, "Hey, what do you want to do with your life? Have you ever thought about this? Have you ever thought about that? And this thing comes up all the time, man. Like I was talking to a guy about joining the military, and he wants to better his life, and I think he should do it. He's a smart young man, but at the same time, too, this obstacle is getting him. It was getting the other person that I talked to, and it seems to be an obstacle that most people are running into today, and that is the fear of making mistakes. The fear of making mistakes. Now, in the dictionary, I'm going to read a verb, what it means as a verb. A mistake is to be wrong about. To be wrong about, right? And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get you to change your mindset, right? So, one thing I learned, you know, 9 years in the military, just went through so many different phases in life, went through so many different obstacles in life, right? But I'm going to tell you this, mistakes, they help me. Like, I don't understand, like, what's the stigma on a mistake, because all a mistake is a chance to let you get it right like the second time so you won't make the same mistake, right? And check this out. It's only stupid when you make the same mistake twice. Why? Because you should have learned the first time. You know? That's when I feel like it's stupid, when you make the same mistake twice, because a mistake is supposed to teach you to never do that again. I remember when I was young, right? I always used to look at the stove and I'd be like, man, like, I like that light on there. I wasn't, I was just like, hey, I was, we didn't have much growing up. So, I was entertained by the littlest things. But, I was looking at that stove and I seen that red light. And then I thought to myself, like, I wonder how it would feel to touch it. I'm not going to lie to you. Next thing you know, I touched it. Guess what I learned? I learned that anything that light up red like that, it burns. That's exactly what I learned. Guess what I learned not to do? I learned not to never touch it again. You understand what I'm saying? So think about that. Mistakes are meant to teach you to never to do it again. But most people's problems is they're either afraid to make mistakes, or the mistake that they're making already, they're afraid to turn it around and try something new. They rather keep making the same mistake twice. I once heard somebody say that the human being is the only one that can make 1,000 mistakes and never pay for it. What does that mean? That means that if you think about any other animal on this planet, let's think about the gazelle for a second, right? So when the gazelle is near the water, the crocs are lurking, right? So if that gazelle does not time it right and he's too close to the water and he's making one mistake, the crocodile is going to grab him, take him underwater, and he's no more. You think about every other animal in the kingdom, in the animal kingdom. I want you to think about that. One mistake that they make with the predator, they're gone. The human being, man, you want to know if I'm lying or not? Think how many mistakes you done made, and think about if it would have cost you your life. Would you be here right now? I don't think so. But the thing about it is, you got to learn from the mistakes, man. Like when I first joined the military, I was trying to be perfect, and I believe somewhat, you was doing good, but they just took that thing like perfection, get it out of your mind. Like you could always improve yourself. And when you want to improve yourself and when you want to grow, guess what? Mistakes are going to happen. Mistakes build character, right? They build you up to tackle things. Like there's certain things that I can do now. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm a human being and I need breaks and stuff like that. So sometimes I come stay with my family and I want to be around their good gracious. I want to be around people that I feel like love me and whatnot. But I can go out there to the real world and I know how to operate, but it's a lot, but it's like I made so many mistakes to the point now when I go back out, because eventually I will go back out because I don't stay here too long because I feel like life is an adventure, right? But I done made so many mistakes. I know how to get out of here. I know how to relocate to another state. I know how to find a job, and I know exactly what I'm not looking for. And how does that happen? Through mistakes. I'm trying to tell you, bro, you cannot name me one human being, right, that's ever tried to build something and they didn't make a mistake in the beginning, right? Like, I'm trying to tell you that you don't just arrive by just being perfect. You arrive through the mistakes. You got to think about it. Like I said, these books, these Bibles and stuff like that, they are filled, right? The only reason that they have the stories in there is because they're all filled with the mistakes that they made. Think about it. Like all the mistakes that everybody ever made in the Bible, that's the reason why you remember it. Because, and through their mistakes, guess what they do? They teach you what not to do. I once heard somebody say that a book is just something condensed that can help you get around. Like, so if you study a business book, let's say Grant Cardone, somebody like that, when you read their books, right? They're meant so you can learn the mistakes that they made so you could hopefully get around it instead of making the same mistakes that they made. That's all the book is about. Failures on the way to success. Yes, they have arrived to their success, but the mistakes was essential. The mistakes was essential to getting them where they need to be. Like, I've been listening to this since I've been doing this radio show, right? And I feel like that I'm making mistakes. Like I'm just going back on the videos and I'm like, okay, yeah, you could be perfect and stuff like that, or you could just make the mistakes now, study, listen to what you're saying, and get better at it. You gotta think that's the only way that we can get better at what we do is if we make mistakes. And so many people are scared to jump off the porch. Like, yo, you're not gonna get to where you need to go financially without mistakes. You're not gonna get to the love that you want without mistakes. You're not gonna get to any goals without mistakes because you know why? We're imperfect. We're not perfect beings. Like, that's not the way the world works. Like, nobody ever did anything super perfect. Like, but people act like, perfection is necessary for success, and it's really not. You know? I'm like, we gotta fix this way of thinking and we gotta understand that mistakes are essential to get to the next level. They cannot be avoided. They should not be ran from, but they should be fully ran to and embraced. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I made so many mistakes in my life, and my mistakes make me who I am today. When I meet people, and I had a girl tell me last weekend because, like I said, I'm in my hometown, and they speak. They got a little bit of ebonics type deal going on. They got the little slang, their little country slang. And the girl told me, she said, "You don't talk like everybody else out here," and I noticed that. And I told her my story. I said, "Look," I said, "when I first joined the military, long story short." I was speaking the way that we spoke from where I came from, and it didn't make any sense to the crowd. So I had somebody pull me over. I mean, they had somebody pull me aside, excuse me, and they told me that, hey, man, I understand that people come from different parts of the earth, but what you did up there, you can never do that again because you don't want people to think that you are illiterate. And that's what he told me. And guess what I did? I said, okay, instead of making the same mistakes, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to listen to how people talk. And yes, sometimes I use the wrong words or sometimes I didn't say the sentence correctly. But guess what? Somebody corrected me on the mistake and I learned from it. And that's how I speak today. Like, I'm not even joking to you. Like, just sitting back and learning from my mistakes. Like, financially, I'm doing all right for myself. I'm not saying that I'm rich or anything like that, but I know how to save $1 from mistakes of being broke. You know what I mean? From mistakes of mismanagement of money. Now I know, like, hey, you need to keep some money on you. I'm trying to tell you, I would not have got there if I had a endless ATM. I would have went to it over and over and over and over again. So what does that tell us? That tell us that mistakes are built into life so that we can grow. And yes, when you make a mistake, sometimes it comes down on you heavy. But guess what? God gives his strongest tests to the, strongest warriors. You know what I mean? So the bigger your mistake is, hey, I hope you get on God's side and y'all get together and you get one with your creator and you bounce back. You come back. That's another thing. Like, people fail one time. People don't even have to fail one time, but people fail one time. I told you about my CDL test. I failed that one. I was half stepping, not studying. And then I failed it. Next thing you know, I could have been like, man, this is discouraging. It sucks to fail. I'm not even going to lie. And that ain't even the biggest thing I failed at. And I still thought about giving up. I was thinking, like, I got to be perfect. Like, no. The same thing, man. We got to get it right. We got to get our mindset right on mistakes. Mistakes build you up. They don't tear you down. They'll tell you it's only temporary. A mistake is only seasonal. You understand what I'm saying? But not learning from mistakes can last you a lifetime. How many people making the same mistake? They wanna have more money and they wanna call you for money, and you just like, hey, all you gotta do is stop making the mistake of spending your money all the time. That's a mistake that you're making. But guess what? They keep doing it. Hey, they in a bad relationship. Hey, you're making a mistake. That person is doing this to you. That person doing that to you. Guess what they rather do? They rather keep doing that same mistake. You know why? Because it's comfortable. It's comfortable. And to fix your mistake, you can sit in your mistakes. You see people do it all the time. Get on drugs, deal with the wrong people, wrong crowd. Hey, but if you don't correct it, guess what? Mistakes can last a lifetime. Trying to tell you, if you fix it, it's only temporary. And if you embrace it, you can tear down everything that you up against. Hey, when I was in Coppers Cove, I was in a place called Coppers Cove, Texas. I made a mistake. I invested in someone who wasn't really for me like that. And, God bless this person because I ain't got no vendettas. That's the past and it's over with. But that mistake took a long time and I'm still bouncing back from that mistake to this day. But guess what? Through that mistake, I learned that I was unstoppable and I could do anything if I could survive that. I'd probably go into detail with it later, but right now that ain't the point. The point is about when I made the mistake, it hurt bad. I'm talking about I was in a place of darkness. Guess what happened? I said I was going to fix this mistake, and it was still dark at times. Guess what? Eventually, I got back to the light. And through climbing through that mistake and fixing it, guess what happened? It made me unstoppable. And now you hear me telling my testimony right here and right now. But if you want to be successful, you're going to have to embrace mistakes. I'm telling you, because a mistake is the only way that can get you to the top. There's nobody that, if you study everybody throughout history, right, they have made mistakes on the way to success. I know it don't seem like, especially when people blow up and stuff like that, but I guarantee they got a struggle story, a bunch of mistakes that they made in the beginning. You're not supposed to be perfect in the beginning. So that's the topic. I hope y'all learned something from this. And I'm glad to be back once again. And like I said, we're going to be dropping content all 2025 because I made a mistake and said 2024 on the boredom video. And that was a mistake. But guess what? Hey, man, taught me. Don't sound crazy. It's 2025. And we coming like we never left. I appreciate y'all for listening. I'm out.